Okay, step one. Preparing the mold. We're going to be using a real Glock 19 for this. And to prepare a mold drone with a real gun, you need to add some things to it. So, tools that we will need for this step. X-Acto knife, something to cut on, pliers, and some cut-off parts from our Boltaron sheet. 3/4 of an inch high, something like that. It's simple enough to just make one cut, kind of like just eye it out, and then use another one as an example.
I like to make a single cut with quite a lot of pressure, and then just continue it to the edges.
So it's easier to break it off. Use pliers. And start carefully breaking the thing off. That should work. Something like that. So just one line of duct tape to connect the two parts together. Then completely ugly one piece of duct tape to attach this to the back of the pistol. This part is pretty much not going to be part of the holster, so we don't care about the detail. And then one more little piece here to connect them closer, and to allow to attach it to the muzzle end. This way, the parts that will connect with the Boltaron sheet are left uncovered, and you will not sacrifice any detail. For the trigger guard area, I already have the thing that's basically made. This one is actually not out of Boltaron. This is, I think, out of sticky notes, but it works the same. As long as you cover it with a duct tape, it will not attach itself to the foam or anything like that. It will degrade over time. Like you can see, this one got really smashed because there's nothing here, but it will work for quite a while. You can attach it to trigger guard and the muzzle, and it will still hold. And the last thing that we need to do is to close the ejection port, or else there would be a detail that just goes in and you will have too much retention. I'm just going to use duct tape, just a few layers of it, put it in, and then attach it pretty much to the side channel. Okay, so this is the ejection port spacer. Just finished cutting it, and I'm gonna attach it to the side channel and the ejector area, extractor area, I'm sorry. That will do it. Okay, the oven is preheated to 375. I gave it a little bit of time to stabilize the temperature. Inside the oven we have 4 layers of cooking paper on top of upside down cooking pan. I just use one glove to take the Boltaron out, and you will need a stopwatch. Any kind of. You can use your phone. The molding drone, of course. Our Boltaron 12x6 sheet. And for, instead of a press, we're using acoustic foam. The one that they use for Kenson the Echo in studios from Amazon. 4 double layers of it, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. Cooking time is 2.5 minutes. What I like about Boltaron is it's tougher than kydex. It loses flexibility slower when it loses the temperature, so you don't need to rush when you're actually forming it. One last component to this step is a bag of ice. You don't really have to use it, but it just makes everything so much faster. Okay, let's do this. Two and a half minutes started. Now I'll just sit here and and watch the sheet, even though I know this oven now, and I know it was preheated and then it was staying like this for 10 minutes. Just to make sure, I will look at the Boltaron to make sure it's not overheated. Alright, we're approaching 2.5 minutes here. Let's put the camera... 3, 2, 1, ready. Alright, that looks like a good heated Boltaron. This is an example of a good flex. You pretty much can hold it for a few seconds without burning yourself. So put it in, put the gun on, leave some space for like 2-3 fingers for the wing. Align this end with the end of a Boltaron sheet. Put it on a little bit tightly against the side channel spacer, so it doesn't have too much material there. Put the thing in, put it on, step on it, and now we're gonna stay here until 6 minutes. So the stopwatch is still going. Started at 3:20, so basically 3 minutes standing on that thing. You can jump on it a little bit, take it off, put the ice on, light pressure, very light pressure. Let's see, 10 seconds one side, 10 seconds other side. We're done. My cat hairs everywhere. Ta-da! To make sure the Boltaron is completely cold, we're gonna flush it with water a little bit. And now we can go and start cutting. Okay, so since this is a taco style holster, we can hit it up in this part to open it a little bit, and then do all the cuts and everything we need, and then close it. So to not ruin the finish, you need to be further away from the flame. Move the holster and not allow it to overheat. That's good. I like to keep it at 90 degrees open, and then just give it a little flush of water to make it stay, and then we're ready to cut. The first thing we're gonna do is to mark up the location for holes that will be used for screws that are gonna be holding the clips. You can make them straight, and this is what pretty much everybody does, but for what I call a competition angle, this clip, the one that's closer to the trigger guard, could be angled with its lower muzzle end further away from the muzzle. This will create the angle like this, so if you want to straighten the holster on the belt, it's gonna go like that, giving you more natural, more ergonomic, and a little bit more concealable angle for the grip of the gun. I already prepared my my layout. What is going to be here is I prepared it only for one side, so I will cut one side first, then I will close the holster, well, attach the clips, close the holster, and use one side as a template to cut the other side, so they're closer together, symmetrical, and we will do less with the Dremel then. So what is going to be here, just to explain this real quick, on the side that has the mag release, we want to have the cut line outside of the mag release button. Then we want to have 2 or 3 fingers from the grip to create a space for our fingers between the grip, the pistol grip, and the wing claw. So here, actually, it may go even a little bit like this. Maybe something in the middle. Yeah. I'm going to use the middle line here. Then I will cut right on the trigger guard imprint to minimize the work that's going to be done with the Dremel. Here we will go touching the slide release, and then we will go to the top of the slide pretty much to the ejection port, or even further away, opening ejection port a little bit. This will give you enough space to put a red dot on and just make the holster much smaller. So just continue this line then, symmetrical on other side. Same thing with the trigger guard, and for wing claw, we're going to use this part. So I'm going to drill the holes first, and then mark where I can go and cut the holster, so it's less digging into your thigh, as close as possible to the holes, but holes first, because this is important. Okay, so now that I have the holes, I understand how the cut can go without damaging the area that's used for mounting the clips. I will only know after closing the holster how the wing claw is gonna go. So this cut is gonna end before the wing claw, but enough to actually provide reference point for this side. It's time to cut.
Because here, because this area is really big and it's not going to be accessible to have a...
Okay, that's ready to be closed. Get our gun. Make sure everything's kind of fine here. Yep, that grip will work. Maybe Dremel just a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Heat it up. So before we're gonna heat it up, we're gonna install. So let's install just this clip, and this one we will install in the closed holster. Real quick though, we need to prepare our clips. So we're gonna use our Tier 1 concealed clip as a template. There is a center line here. So you just align it to center line. Just a Sharpie to mark where the holes are gonna be. And we can cut it pretty much the same way as we do with the Boltaron. Just a little bit further away from the holes. And just break it off with the pliers. So now with the Dremel, we'll just round the corners, smoothen the edges, and drill holes in them. That's pretty straightforward. Alright, we have the clips now. T-posts on the inside come here. Then we put spacers from rubber tubing on it. Put the... let's see, let's build this one for appendix. Clip is in. It's much easier to put it on when the holster is not closed yet. I'm gonna leave it on. I have enough flex to finish the edges. I'm gonna finish all the edges that I can before closing the holster and completing the cut. Applying equal pressure on left and right sides and heating up only the channel as precisely as possible. That's good. Now we can mark the remaining cut.
So this side marking is done. That side marking is done too.
Alright, I like that. We can finishing the edges and form the claw. But first, let me take a selfie. But first we will make a hole for the retention. So we just put the gun in, apply pressure from both sides of the trigger guard, find a place that looks more or less flat, put this thing perpendicular. If it goes, put the rubber spacing in. Let's see if it's wide enough. There is no air gap when the gun is inserted, so it is wide enough. Place now. Good retention. Now we can continue finishing the holster and forming the claw and attaching the last clip. Yeah, I like this. Two remaining parts is the claw, which is going to heat it up with a propane torch and put it in here, and the mag release button guard, which is remaining in place as it is, but we heat it up to create a little bit more space between the mag release button and the holster, so it will actually protect us better. Last clip on. Too cheap.
Posts. Let's see how much I want space here. Something like that. 1, 2. Okay, we're gonna use the top one. Let's do one by one. Now we can unscrew this temporarily.
And I will use the depth of the clip to see how deep I want the claw to go. And the trick here is just to use a table to angle the claw without touching it really. Maybe I have to touch it a little bit. And looks like I will need to cut it a bit as well. I'm gonna flush it with water and then cut it. Super quick flush. I like my claws very aggressive, so I leave them at 45 degrees angle so they don't break as easily. Cut. Cut. Looks okay. Last thing, the mag release button guard. Now it's really flexible and nice. Put the gun in, make sure there's enough space. Put it a little bit closer. And that's gonna do it. Now flush it with water. Press the button. It works! Agni-Kai Momo is complete. Let's try it on. This one was already configured for appendix. And this is how you put it on. This clip needs to be center line of your body. So you put the center line first, this line second. Make sure clips are clicked. Widen them as wide as possible. Move the belt a little bit. Adjust the belt tightness. Readjust the clips. Maybe it sits a bit high, but that works. Maybe put it a little bit to the right. This is what I hate about holsters that don't have the mag caddy built in. You don't know where to put it, so you have to experiment a little bit, even in appendix position. Yep. This is it. And this one is really high, so if I put it a little bit lower, it will conceal better. Oh yeah, just moved it one hole lower, and it's so much better. Still gives me a really good competition angle. A lot of space to grab onto it, so I can probably move it even lower. Nice. Ooh. 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 Get some.